Hello and welcome everyone. It's Una from Bella Retreats coming to you today. And I am wanting to share some very special retreat leaders with you today in preparation for their upcoming retreat to Spain. I really wanted to introduce you to some phenomenal women today. So we are going to be speaking with Christine Howard. She is a leadership lifestyle mentor who's been teaching and mentoring in the coaching and corporate area for over 20 years. And Ana Nieto, who is a body, mind, and energy trainer who has worked in the health and wellness field for more than 20 years. She originally started in New York, where she co-founded a personal studio in Manhattan. Now they live in California and teach and coach with women. So welcome to today's Retreat Leader interview series, Christine and Ana.
Grateful to be here, Una.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
It's my pleasure. I absolutely love talking to people, and I love sharing the gifts that facilitators have, especially retreat facilitators. Obviously, this is my passion. But it takes a lot to hold space for others in their journey and their transformational process. So I absolutely love to talk with people who have these gifts and these talents. So I'd love to hear in your own words from both of you a little bit more about, who you are, what it is exactly that you do, and why it is you do what you do. Just in your own words, I'd love to hear that, and I'd love for you to introduce yourself as well, so everyone can get to know you more. Christine, why don't we start with you?
Sure.
Okay.
Awesome. Yes. So who am I? Yes, coach, mentor, speaker, author, retreat leader. I'm multifaceted here in the work that I do. And who I work with are women that were like me, that woman who has spent decades serving her family, serving others in her career, and she is ready to write a new chapter and reclaim her own wants, needs, and desires, and get out of the overwhelm and the overwork and create a new chapter that is based on what she truly desires, filled with joy and flow and the deeper fulfillment that she's been craving. That's the core of what I do, and all of the things I do were the journey that I went through myself.
Beautiful. I love that story. I know so many women that are givers and just powerhouses and take care of everyone, and really at some point in their life they come to a point where they know they have to then redirect energy and take care of themselves and be nurtured in a way that they've been giving for so much of their lives. So that's really special, important work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, that is talking about giving. I talk about myself about a giver in recovery. I grew up with 3 brothers, and I remember having to take care of them, but also in a way that they will be approving me. So a little bit like Christine, I learned to just be a people pleaser in a way, right? And it was later on in my life that I realized that I needed to take care of myself. I grew up in Spain. If you haven't noticed already, I have an accent. And I knew from the very beginning when I was a little kid that I wanted to help people. And I didn't really know what that was. So I studied nursing back in Spain. That's my background. And when I moved to New York City in my early 20s, I discovered a method of training that is called super slow. And it's a high intensity yoga style. And in only about 30 months, my body changed completely in the way it felt and it looked, with 30 minutes of training a week. So I started becoming a personal trainer. And then from that, I opened a studio, as you well said before, in Manhattan. And since then, I've been studying nutrition. I became a coach because I realized that we humans are very fun, but also very complicated beings. And I believe there are 3 areas that we need to have in harmony in order to be our best selves. And that is our body, our mind, and our energy that is around us. So this is why I'm a body, mind, and a spiritual trainer and an energy trainer, because I believe that it's just not the body that needs to be physically fit, but also our mind needs to be trained in a way that is also positively fit. And then our energy around us and the way that we behave and have boundaries around other people is very important, as well as how we feel about the world around us and when the reality that we create.
Beautiful. That's so important. I think this conversation is gotten greater in my lifetime, even, you know, which is a short amount of time. But yeah, that concept of what's beyond, you know, your physical body and what's beyond your mental body is the energy, right, that we come with or that we engage with. And energetic boundaries, so important. And it's really fascinating when you begin to really set up your energetic space in a particular way and what you know, will allow in and you won't. And it's such important work because, yeah, our energy, you know, as humans is limited, might we say, into the amount of hours that we have in a day or the amount of years that we get to be here. So I'm a personal fan of using that energy wisely. So I really appreciate that aspect of it. Very cool. So who is it that you typically work with? And who are your ideal clients and your favorite people that you work with exactly? Christine?
Yes, yes.
What
It truly is that I want to say kind of that midlife woman, or that woman who's in a transition, either from having climbed the corporate ladder and now she's wanting something, that passion project or that soul calling that just will not go away. The empty nester, or in my case, where I had a double wake up call, which was a breast cancer diagnosis and a divorce, major transitions in my life. But again, the common thread with all of them is that they know there's something more for them to have, do, and be, and they just have this welling up of, now is the time for me to explore this. And so it could be a new company or a new entrepreneurial effort, but it doesn't have to be. It could be deepening relationships, finding the one, and all of it really comes back to helping them to reconnect with themselves in a deeper way and to peel back the layers so they can create what I call their radiant reality.
Radiant reality. I love that saying. And that's a part of the name of your Spain retreat. And I want to talk about that soon, but I want to check in with Ana and just see if she wants to add anything to that. Do you have similar clients or a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. And also, well, I would exactly what Christine said, and what I would add to it is that I believe, and I not only believe it, I hear it all the time. Unfortunately, women, talking about when they get to a certain age, perhaps they are married, they have had kids, or they are getting to a point in their life where they are starting to feel like they have no value and that they are thrown by society, right? And the fact that we sometimes start spending money on things that are making us pretty from the outside, but that really doesn't look the beauty from the inside, which is what I think we are finding in our retreats. We're finding that essence of the woman, the desires that they truly have. And I see this all the time, that when you work on yourself and you're taking out those ledges of jackiness that are not making it look pretty, you don't need to spend so much money on other things, but you are actually just looking beautiful naturally because you feel that way and you find, the new level of life that you want to create, the radiant reality. And the mindful movement is not just about physical movement, but it's about mindful movement of emotions or feelings that need to leave our body in order to make us feel better. The movement of toxins that leave the body also, that are going to create us to be more pure, more open, to receiving the things that we want. So that's a little addition of what Christine said, that I think we both agree that we both feel like we are in a very happy, joyful place in our lives, and we are always trying to think about what is the next thing. And we want to entice and just have women that are feeling that they are losing a little bit that, and what is it for them that they can reconnect with that part and just find exactly what is their next step to create that life that they want.
Beautiful. I'm loving this. So yeah, that radiant reality, when I hear the word radiant, it comes from within, right? It's nothing that we need from outside. So finding that radiance from within and then having the clarity and the confidence to make moves and steps in your life after the fact, after you have that, to move with that radiance. That's gorgeous. Sign me up. I want that. You know, I do. I feel like we all
You've
need.
got the link for the form.
I do. Well, yeah, I think just being, you know, a woman, being an entrepreneur, you know, being a very emotional, I'm a Pisces type. So I'm always working on that. Always working on myself, and I'm always working on aligning myself to make the next best steps in my life. And I think it's really important when, you know, we only have this one life, this one body, that we take that very sincerely. I take it very sincerely. So tell us a little bit about why retreats and why, you know, retreats are so powerful for this work. And if you want to talk a little bit about your past retreat, I know you had recently had one to Mexico. You can bring that in, but just, yeah, why are retreats so good for getting us in touch with that radiance and that clarity? Christine.
I have always loved retreating, and this was a habit that I created for myself when we started taking family vacations. It's all about creating that container for yourself to kind of put the day-to-day busyness, normal activity on hold and step into a truly almost like a blank canvas where you can decompress, you can get quiet and get really still and start to listen for what's bubbling up inside you, what wants to come through you. And I've seen in my life how that has been so impactful for me to make up leveled, you know, moves in my life, or say yes to that next thing. It comes through me. And I love to travel. And it's been, you know, Anna and I have kind of a similar story, and I'll let her share hers. But for like, I think it might have been about 8 years ago now, from a retreat that I went to, it came to me to lead retreats. And it's just, I love that deep dive, safe container, like peel those layers back and let your beautiful essence, radiance, and magic come through you to guide you on that next level. And that's a huge reason why I love retreats.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I resonate with all of that. Anna.
Yes, I do have a pretty deep story on one of my first retreats that I went in Hawaii with a group of Japanese women and a few Westerners, in where, you know, you probably know that because you go to retreats all the time. It's like I started talking, but it was not me really talking. It was spirit, you know, kind of talking through me and what I needed to express at that point. And in my case, it was about my value and the value that I was giving into the work that I was doing. And two of my clients were actually in that room, and they both expressed how much I've changed their life with the work that I did physically, mostly at that time, although some coaching as well. And I didn't believe it. You know, it was something that I had not embodied yet. So I started crying and screaming, and you know how it goes, right? It was a big breakthrough. And, you know, sometimes we don't really have people screaming yet at our retreats, but it's been happening. A lot of crying.
Lots of tears.
Because it's tears, right? Because we had those realizations of like, oh my God, I really have not realized about how I truly deeply feel about this. And once you see it, right? And then you are actually able to shift it and create other pattern of being. And another little thing that I want to add to what Christine said is also in retreat. And I think it's the most important time actually to be retreating because of the impact that the past few years have had, right? And we have all been very disconnected. So connecting in retreats with people and really having those experiences that we have missed for all these years, right? That we were going through the pandemic, not to come back there, but just to point out that some of those trauma have been stuck in our body, and a way to relieve it with all the things that we do during our retreats and the connection that we create, because the people that meet there, they create amazing connections that continue, you know, after we leave the retreat. And we can tell you a little story that happened at our retreat in a moment, but it really happens very deep in that relationship and that deep connectiveness between people.
Absolutely. I agree with all of that. And I just, you know, retreats, that sacred container that gets set when a group of like-minded people decide to say yes to something together. There's so much power in that. And that getting out of the day-to-day routine, we know that works with our brains and our neurochemistry, that gets us primed and ready to learn new things. And yeah, when you have the time and you have the space to become aware of the feelings and the emotions that maybe you haven't had time to process, that clarity that comes through that sacred container is so precious. And yeah, it really ignites a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people get ignited in retreats. Yeah, I feel it coming back to, post the last 3 years. It's like we want our community and we want our connection and we want these experiences again, where we really can process through what the world has been through, essentially a collective trauma. So yeah, it's
well,
really
and you mentioned Mexico, which we ended up doing. Anna and I did 2 retreats there last year, and one gal came to both, and she's coming to Spain, and it has been so amazing and truly touches our hearts in a very deep way to see her openness to be into inquiry of who am I, what do I really desire, and to like shedding layers and layers. Every day we would see this transformation in her, and she, I don't want to say she's become a new person. She's become who she innately is, and is expressing more of that innate essence that she's been gifted in this lifetime. And it's just truly so beautiful to witness someone who's really open and stepping into that, who they truly are, and expressing it and through their work and in their relationships and all of that.
As a wellness based, surface based entrepreneur, for me, that is probably my biggest why, my biggest benefit, when I see that result in a human and the changes that they make and the fulfillment they feel. It's really, really special. So thank you for doing this work. Tell us a little bit about Spain, since this is your home, country. Why did you choose to go here to this particular part of Spain? Tell us a little bit about that, and your excitement and inspiration for that.
Yes, Malaga, Spain is the San Diego of Spain. So it's right by the Mediterranean. It's a microclimate, and it's just a beautiful city, beautiful location. We are going to be in a nice retreat outside of the city, but it's still very close to the Mediterranean, and really immersed in the beauty and of that piece of land that is just, well, I'm from there, so what can I say, but I remember when I was traveling there and visiting the retreat in December. Is such a fascinating area where you have so many resources naturally, the olive trees, the mango trees, a lot of vegetation, and just the beautiful pine trees, and just little hills, by the Mediterranean. The place is so secluded and so private and so quiet that is really going to be a perfect space for people to go deep within and just find, these breakthroughs that we are talking about for themselves and whatever is it that they need at the moment. So I cannot speak enough, because this area is wonderful. The culture of my country, people are so amazing as well. So I'm just so excited to be taken, a group of women that are ready to make changes. As you were saying before, it's so different when you are outside of your regular area, your regular space of comfort, right? And when you travel, new difference, new opportunities open up, new desires. And there's something magical about that area. It's not because it's my country. I just really think like there's something magical about that area that people are going to experience and be in touch with, and that is going to change them and forever. And it was not only me that I chose this space. I know Christine was dying to go to Spain.
On board, yes, 100%, 100%.
I mean,
and we both, when we saw this venue, and we looked at several on paper first, and both of us, it was our number one pick. We just resonated with everything about it.
Yeah, we will have a sort of a farm to table experience with the food as well, because they have an edible garden, and as much as possible we are going to be served the food that grows in the property, and if not, just from local farmers, and vendors. So I'm super excited about the whole experience and really be immersed in that space of really culturally mixed with the land, but also experiencing our work together. So I just think it just doesn't get any better than that for me. So yeah, I'm super excited.
Yeah, I haven't been to this particular area, but I'm looking through photos and videos, and the feeling that I get is this rolling, lush countryside with ocean views. And I'm just going, what more do you need? That sounds perfect. Especially, you know, in August it's gonna be warm. They have this gorgeous pool as well, so you can get that sun and fun. And yeah, it just looks a really delightful, like really romantic even, you know, the countryside there.
It is. And there's beautiful hikes and places to go as well, you know, and just enjoy the beauty of the nature around. So yeah, immersing in nature is definitely something that I believe in retreat is so important as well, you know, to really become who we are and connect with Mother Earth, you know.
Absolutely. So important to have that environment. And you know, we've talked a little bit about your work and what you do and how you inspire women and who you like to work with, but what can people expect if they're, you know, going to be on the retreat besides, and you know, lounging by the pool and hiking to the, you know, Mediterranean, and eating farm to table gorgeous food? What's really the time that they're going to get with you ladies going to be about? You know, I'm assuming you're really going to take them to the heart.
Definitely. We so we have a whole roadmap for the week, and we're gonna take them on this progressive journey of really grounding into everything that is now, some deep envisioning work to ignite that next level picture. There's a process of letting go with some great practices and activities Anna and I will be bringing, and then moving into that inner commitment, body, mind, and spirit, and then to embodying. Like, now we don't want them to just feel good and connect and have this great vision. We truly will be working with them to embody what's coming up. So all of it just follows this beautiful, very intentional journey that we'll be taking them on. Anna, feel free to add in your. There's a lot more than that, but that's the roadmap.
I was thinking you just said it perfectly, like I would have. You know, the only thing that I might add is that we will have movement. We will have, you know, strength training yoga style almost every morning. We will be doing some hikes together. We'll have the delicious food. And yes, that it is a journey of transformation. And perhaps the only thing I will add is that, you know, as we were talking about before, you know, we are all vessels of the creation of what is coming for us. So we are going to facilitate a process where they are going to really find that for themselves, because they already innately know, right? And I think Christine said that before. And it's just facilitating a process where they can actually tap into it and find, you know, that's superpowers that I like to say, that is actually going to create that for them. And Christine was talking before about the example of the person that has come to 3 of our retreats. Well, that's the one person that came to our last retreat that I have to, you know, say that she's actually getting married because of what happened there. And, you know, that happened because of the retreat. Probably, maybe it would happen otherwise, but I know that that was the last step for her to actually say yes to it. And, you know, things like that can happen where big transformations in your life, you know, you really say yes to, because then you're ready. You are ready to do it because you are able to let go of the things that hold you back. So that was something that we both experienced. That was beautiful to see and be part of now.
So fun. And one thing I wanted to toss out too is Anna and I have been going through our own transformations as a result of us stepping into this work. So we are continually evolving what we're bringing and how it's laid out, and you know, it's, and listening to the feedback. So it's fantastic. This is not a cookie cutter 5 steps to blah blah blah. It's truly a very heart and intentional, heart-centered, intentional process we go through to bring the work that we're bringing together.
Yeah, and I was thinking one last thing, as well as giving people enough time to integrate and to be by themselves so they can actually explore. And I believe that we have a perfect mix of sessions and time for them to just be by themselves or with the group if they choose. So they have enough time to just not go from session to session without really having been able to absorb, what we just share with them. So yeah, we're becoming better each time, I think, as well, Christine. We're up leveling ourselves. Yes.
Yes, we all like to keep up leveling. It's
Uh,
really important too, as a facilitator, as a yoga teacher myself. You might have a plan and then 10 different bodies walk into the room that day, and you really have to teach to the bodies that are in your room.
Yeah.
Instead of really sticking to this idea. And yeah, as someone who facilitates transformation, I hope we're all going through our own levels of learning and transformation all the time, because this is part of life and getting better and improving. And that's great to hear. If somebody's been on another one of your retreats in the past, the next one is going to be the next level version of that. So, and I love and I love hearing about your fun getting married story. In fact, I was just thinking my astrology brain went off in August. I'm going, it's Venus retrograde time in August. So that means Venus energy is really palpable during that time. And you all we're offering a VIP day post retreat to go to Granada and visit the Alhambra, which I don't know if everyone knows this, but it was an homage to love. And it was built. Is that correct? I'm not remembering the whole story, but I know who built it. He built it for his beloved. And it's just one of the places I've been to Spain that I felt absolutely incredibly delightfully in love with, because it was such, this dedication, to love. It's so beautiful. Is there anything you want to say a little bit more about that, Ana?
Well, I think what you said is exactly what I experienced when I was there. It's such a sacred space that, I mean, in all honesty, I haven't been there in years. And I have to tell you, I still remember it as one of my favorite places in the world. And I've traveled quite a bit. And that is a place that just stayed with me forever. And there is this particular space outside is the Fountain of Lions, I think it's called, and which is a very specific place that I cannot get off my mind since I was there the last time. And it's just a village in itself, this place, right? It's not just an old Islamic temple, but it's really a whole the size of a village in itself. So you can really spend the day traveling around and enjoying the gardens and the interiors and the beautiful architecture. And it's more than that. It's what you express. It's the feeling that you get when you are in it. It's just a very special, sacred. I would express it as sacred and deep internal energy sort of experience, right? When you are there. So I can't wait to take people to the Alhambra and then spend the afternoon in Granada, which is another beautiful city that has so much history. And that is a space that I think people could also immerse a little more in the Spanish culture and get to experience all the things that perhaps at the retreat we want, but just taking everything that we've learned and kind of share it in real life, in a little town there. So yeah, I think the combination is going to be amazing of those two things together.
Gorgeous. I love it. Well, it's been such an honor to have both of you here today and to learn more about you and this trip. I feel really excited, wondering there's only a few spots left for this. So
That's right.
I feel really excited, wondering who's gonna hear this and feel that, yes, that resonance, that call to come and experience this with you. The trip's in August. We have a few more days this week in May where we're offering that early bird rate. So we'd love to know who those women are. I'm so curious. So we will link to the sign up page. And if you want to reach out to me or Ana or Christine, if you have any questions, we're all available for that as well. But I think the bigger thing is if you're listening to this and this feels like a interesting, yes, you can feel it exciting you in a way that this could help take you to the next level in your life, reach out, let us know. We'd love to have you along. Thank you so much for joining us today, Christine Howard and Ana Nieto.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Many blessings. And we'll see you in Spain.
Yes.
Thank
Ciao.